a breath is actually to pull up on the nails in your wrists and push up on the nails in your feet. But the Romans, being good at torture, put the nails in the wrists right through the main nerve. So just to get a breath, it was an agony for the Lord. That's just to breathe. But imagine how much of a breath he had to get in order to speak from the cross. So these 7 last sayings, these 7 last words of our Lord, are precious statements. They cost him more than any other statement he made during his entire life. So he didn't waste words. I think every Christian should have these words memorized. We should regularly meditate upon them. So it's a worthy thing to do during this season of Lent. Jesus chose that the first words he would speak in his agony on the cross were, Father, the name of the Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Now, when we think of these words, it's important to consider the fact that there has to be some people out there that knew what they were doing, right? I mean, I think we can assume that there were some people out there who knew what they were doing. But he still pleads, and he still makes excuses for us sinners. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. One of the things my dad said to me when I was having some problems with the kid at school is he helped me think of how this other young man was probably suffering in his home. Who knows what was happening? It was purely conjecture, just theoretical. We had no idea. But he said, you know, if he's being treated this way in his private life, and we don't know about it, maybe that's why he's acting this way towards you. And even just as a hypothetical, it made it easier for me to forgive this individual. My dad gave me an excuse to forgive him. And I was far more patient. I mean, I kept my distance and boundaries and everything, but I was far more patient and far more willing to forgive. Because I could think of a reason to do so. And this is what Jesus does. He pleads with his heavenly Father, making excuses for us. Imagine if every time someone offended you, you could think of at least one excuse why maybe it wasn't totally their fault. We'd forgive far more quickly. We probably wouldn't get as perturbed or angry. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. I think it's easiest just to use the words of the Lord in our own lives in these instances of suffering when we're offended. They must not know what they are doing.
Shalom. All praises, glory, honor, and fear, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Rakakadash. Shalom, citations to the election, the house of David. And these are very severe, serious times, and you have to be getting things in order. And that's what we're doing. We're setting our house in order. And when you set your house in order, you put everything in its rightful place. Not everything's confused and messy. And that's why they have that saying, cleanliness is godliness. And we're in the time of great death, great distress, and great men are not always wise, and especially in these times, a lot of guys that are basically manifesting and showing through their works that they deny Yahweh Shai, and that they're goats, and they're not a sheep of the shepherd of the Lamb of God, Yahweh Shai. They're just a bunch of goats. So there's a lot of separation happening. There's a lot of confusion happening and madness and blindness. that's going on in the world right now. And even you have our people, you have guys in this truth that have the truth, that know certain scriptures and know certain things, but even they are confused and are dull of hearing. And there's a lot of things happening right now, a lot of things coming to pass, and so many things being fulfilled. And when you go to Luke 23, verse 25, because our people that have this word, they hold it in unrighteousness. So they don't have the righteousness of Yahushai. Their righteousness is of their camp. Their righteousness is of their flesh. And this is why Yahushai said you have to exceed the righteousness of these Pharisees and scribes. And they're back here today, and they're many, and they have their 1,000 subscribers. Luke 23 and 25, and he released unto them him that for sedition and murder was cast into prison, whom they had desired. See, our people, they desired a murderer. They wanted a murderer, and they chose a murderer over Yahushai. That's the spirit our people are in. They're under a cursed, perverted mind frame. It says, but he delivered Yahushai to their will. And as they led him away, they laid hold upon one Simon the Cyrenian coming out of the country, and on him they laid the cross, that he might bear it after Yahushai. So Simon the Cyrenian that helped Yahushai bear the cross, that's symbolic of the election. It says that he might bear it after Yahushai. So we're bearing it after Yahushai. Yahushai said, you have to pick up your cross and follow him. So we're following what he did. You see? And what our people tend to do when they may be wrong, or you might even be right, but they try to basically justify themselves. So it's all about suffering wrongfully. And you can suffer wrongfully of someone, but that doesn't mean you have to always be around them. I want to say this too, and I'm gonna read this, but I want to say this too. You can forgive someone, right? You can forgive someone, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna be best friends with them either. See, this truth is all about separation. It's about forgiveness. It's about mercy. It's about seeing the bigger picture, right? But it's all about separation. It's all about being holy. When you look at the life and the way Yahushua would walk, he would always separate. He would always get away. There was all kind of different times where he would be alone. He was a loner. And the world that was created by him knew him not. So the same thing with us. 1 Peter 2:19. And that's how this truth has been happening. At one point it was just all one West, and then it was just tears, Certain separations happen time and time again because we're getting to the core of this thing. We're getting to the nucleus, which Yahushua is at the nucleus, and those that are with him are in the nucleus, are in the midst and in the middle of everything happening. Everything rotates and revolves around Yahushua, the Spirit, and the elect, because all things work for the good of those that believe in the Lord. And the world fighteth for the righteous. So you see the weather, you see the wars and rumors of wars, you see the people losing their minds. This is all for the righteous. 1 Peter 2:19, for this is thankworthy if a man for conscience toward God endure grief, suffering wrongfully. So you have to be able to suffer wrongfully. And the thing is, where our people are very immature and childish. When they suffer wrongfully, they want judgment right away. They cry and they bitch and they, oh no, he did this, But if you're in the spirit, you're gonna understand why certain things happen, and you're gonna let it play out. Time reveals all things. Time heals all wounds. It says, for what glory is it if when ye be buffeted for your faults, ye shall take it patiently? But if when ye do well and suffer for it, ye take it patiently, this is acceptable with God. So you have to be patient when you are changed to a lower state. And a lot of guys, what they're doing is they're losing their patience. And the Lord said, it's woe unto you guys. there's no respect of persons, man. If you're losing patience and you're not able to rule over your spirit, it's going to say in Proverbs, he that hath no rule over his spirit is like a broken city, a broken wall. So guys, they don't have no defense from the winds and the storms and the cold, because the love of many is waxing cold. The love of many is waxing cold because men are following their pernicious ways. And not following the way of Yahushua, which is a straight gate. It's very narrow. It involves you having to get away from wickedness and evil and debate and strife and animosity. You know, you have to get away, you know, and be a peacemaker. Luke 23 in verse 27, and there followed him a great company of people and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him. So there was a whole lot of people that was following Yahushua, but you know, some were lamenting him, some was sorrowful, right? But nonetheless, they were bewailing, right? It says, but Yahushua turning unto them said, daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. You see that? Because it's going to be way worse for this generation. It's going to be way worse. And it's not just women, like females. It's also the weak men of our nation that have an effeminate spirit. And that word effeminate, when you really study that word effeminate, it means having no faith. And that's how a lot of our men are. They don't have the testimony, which is testicles, testes, which is the spirit of prophecy. Their balls haven't dropped. They're still you little boys. They're still immature. You haven't grown up yet. So the Lord, he's doing certain things. He's putting the men of Israel into certain situations where things are going to try and test them. And it's either they're going to be made strong and they're going to come out of it as a man, or they're going to ball up like a little boy, you see. The Lord said, show yourselves men. His tabernacle is with men, not boys. And that's what the Lord's raising up, the men of the house of David. It says, for behold, the days are coming in the which they shall say, blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bare, and the paths which never gave suck. Then shall they begin to say to the mountains, fall on us, into the hills, cover us, you see. Now the reason why they're going to be saying this is because they don't want to face the Lord. They have a spirit of fear, you see, but they've been hiding things the whole time. And this is what a lot of our people want. They want the just like Adam and Eve, they try to hide themselves amongst the trees. They want this government in this world to like cover them or hide them. Verse 31, for if they do these things in a green tree, what shall be done in the dry? And that's what's happening. Like, things are still green, you know, it's things are still easily to be attained as of right now for the most part. But if certain guys and certain things are being revealed and it's happening right now in a green tree, what shall be done in the dry? Meaning when it really gets bad, they're going to show who they really are, their real colors. These false elders, these false prophets, these false brethren, what shall be done in the dry? When it's dry and when there's no more carnal things to fulfill the lust of their flesh, they're going to really show what they really are, you know. Now I'm going to come back to Luke 23. This is Mark 13 in verse 17. But woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. And pray that your flight be on the winter, and we are in the winter. And now this is going right into the next verse. It's for in those days shall be affliction such as was not from the beginning of the creation, which God created unto this time, neither shall be. So it's going to get a whole lot worse. It says, and except that the Lord has shortened those days, no flesh should be saved, but for the elect's sake, whom he hath chosen, he hath shortened the days. You see, so the days are being shortened. Time is flying by, because the judgment is set. The Lord's about to bring judgment upon the world. And a whole lot of people been called, but they're not really chosen. That's why they're not really prepared to meet their maker. Hosea 9 and verse 11 says, as for Ephraim, their glory shall fly away like a bird from the birth, and from the womb, and from the conception. Though they bring up their children, yet will I bereave them. That means basically kill them. That there shall not be a man left. You see, in the little scripture say about the scripture talk about the curse has devoured the whole earth, and there's few men left. So that's why, man, not everyone's blessed like that. See, Abraham and his generation was blessed. Noah was blessed. Not everybody. Same thing now. The Lord changes not. You see? So if you're not blessed, you're cursed. It says, yet, but see that what the cursed do, they try to use carnal things and things of the world like money and shit to act like they're blessed, but really they're not. It says that there shall not be a man left. Yeah, woe also to them when I depart from them. And that's what's happening. Yahushai, the Spirit, the true men of the Lord are actually departing. You see? Ephraim, see, so the Lord's departing. Verse 15 says, verse 13, let me read this. It says, so remember how they let loose a murderer, and they gave mercy to him. See, that's the thing with our people. They gave mercy to a murderer, but then they murdered the merciful man. You see, so they're absolutely backwards. It says, give them, Sakia 13, Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, is planted in a pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer. You see that? They're bringing the children to the murderer. Give them, O Yahweh, what wilt thou give? Give them a miscarrying womb and dry breast. And the Lord talked about how desire and sincere milk that ye may grow thereby. So guys, they ain't growing because what? The Lord's giving them a miscarrying womb and dry breast. When you have dry breast, ain't no fluid coming out, ain't no milk coming out, and that's what gives nutrients to the child, to the baby. You see? Hosea 9 and 16. 15. All their wickedness is in Gilgal, for there I hated them. For the wickedness of their doings, I will drive them out of mine house. I will love them no more. All their princes are revolters. All their wickedness is in Gilgal, for there I hated them. So guys, you know what the wicked do? They try to what's the word? They try to just like these elders, they'll abuse that, double honor to the elders in Timothy. They'll abuse that shit. They'll rape that, just like they talk about some fucking rape doctrine. And then you got our people. What they do is they try to use the Lord's love as a free ticket. You know, they take the Lord's love for granted. You know, and they have that spirit of like love is like some sodomy shit, like some LGBT pride shit. Oh, love, nah, man. The Lord hates just as much as he loves. He's a just balance. And if you ain't balanced with love and hate, then you're an unjust balance. You're an abomination. All their wickedness is in Gilgal, for there I hated them. For the wickedness of their doings, I will drive them out of mine house. I will love them no more. All their princes are revolters. Let me get this word for revolters. So the Lord hates them, and he's driving them out for their wickedness and of their actions, what they're doing. So you don't really look at what guys say. Look at what guys are doing. Their actions speak louder than the words. So let me get the word for revolters. Is sharar. Is stubborn, rebellious. Be refractory. Now let's get this word for refractory. Right, look at that. Refractory is resistant to a process, stubborn or unmanageable. So Yahushua can't even manage with certain of our people, man. The most of our people. Hosea 9:16. Ephraim is smitten, their root is dried up. They shall bear no fruit. Yet though they bring forth, yet will I slay even the beloved fruit of their womb. My God will cast them away because they did not hearken unto him, and they shall be wanderers among the nations. So just like in the wilderness, the generation, the old generation that was just full of unbelief. See, what they were doing in the wilderness, they were literally debating with Moses and Aaron and the Spirit and Yahweh Shai. That's what they was debating with them. Oh, how can we do this? Why, you know what I'm saying? All these fucking questions and strife and shit. That's why the Lord was like, all right, you're going to be wandering in this desert. You're going to die in this desert. While your children that you said that should be a prey, they're going to get the kingdom. They're going to get the land. They're going to see the promised land. But you, Saki, but you ain't. And that's the same thing that's happening now. Guys are wanderers. They're just wandering. They're just going all, they're just fucking lost. Yahweh Shai is not really leading them because they're what? They're unmanageable, man. They're refractory. They're rebellious, stubborn. They don't listen. Hard-headed. The word wanderers is nadad. It means to flee, right? So guys are fleeing. They're wandering. They're straying. To be chased away, right? So they're being chased away by the Spirit. So if you're not in the Spirit, which the Spirit is fire. If you're not the Spirit, right, which is a weapon, then you're gonna be in the spirit of a wanderer, fleeing, running away, being chased away, right? Just like it says in Hosea 9:13. It's like 15. It says, "I will drive them out of mine house," and in the Lord's house, in a like it says in Timothy, there's not just vessels to honor, there's also the vessels to dishonor, right? See, so this is what the Lord is doing. He's house cleaning. He's house cleaning. Luke 23 and verse 32. And there were also 2 other malefactors led with him to be put to death. And when they were come to the place which is called Calvary, there they crucified him, and the malefactors, one on the right hand and the other on the left. Then said Yahushua, Father, forgive them. Now here's the point of 34. Then said Yahushua, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lots. And the people stood beholding, and the rulers also with them derided him, saying, He saved others. Let him save himself, if he be Yahweh Shai, the anointed. Let him, the chosen of Yahweh. You see, so they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what they were saying. And they also didn't understand judgment. And that's why they were just saying whatever the hell they wanted to say. And they thought that there was going to be no consequence for what they were saying. Same thing today with our people, man. You see? And this is why Yahushua said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. Our people are so much in darkness and deceived that they don't even realize what's going on. And that's what's so demonic and terrifying about it. It's like when Satan and the demons, the legions are on our people, it's like, it's not just that they're not themselves. It's like they really don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's such a low, evil, deadly vibration that they're under. They're not under the Spirit. For if they were under the Spirit, they would have understood why Yahushua was on the cross. You see? And the same thing now with like the chosen man of the Lord. They don't understand what we're like going through the same things of Yahushua, And they're saying certain things like that too, like mocking and scoffing and deriding Yahushua and his anointed. You see? Luke 12:47, the servant and that servant which knew his Lord's will and prepared not himself. So guys aren't preparing. Neither did according to his will shall be beaten with many stripes. So guys aren't doing according to the Lord's will. So they're going to be beaten with many stripes. And that's what guys are what's happening with guys. They're being tormented in their mind. Acts 3 in verse 14 says, But ye denied the Holy One and the just, and desired a murderer to be granted unto you, and killed the Prince of Life, whom God raised from the dead, whereof we are witnesses. And his name through faith in his name hath made this man strong, whom ye see and know. Yeah, the faith which is by him hath given him this perfect soundness in the presence of you all. So the faith is what's going to make you whole. And like the brother made a heavy point, guess what? How does faith come? Faith comes by hearing. So you have to listen. And don't give a sacrifice of fools, Ecclesiastes 5:1, which many guys are doing, knowingly and unknowingly. It says, and now, brethren, I wot that through ignorance ye did it, as did also your fathers. Now, when someone's ignorant, that goes into what? Gross darkness. The word ignorance is lack of knowledge, especially of divine things, right? Godly things, of moral blindness, you see? So that's what it's going into. When you're ignorant, it means you don't know something that you should know. See? So they don't have the knowledge of the Spirit and how the Spirit works and what the Spirit is saying. It says, but those things which God before had showed by the mouth of all his prophets, that Yahushua should suffer, he hath so fulfilled. You see, and we're fulfilling it well as well. And we're suffering what? Patiently, like I read in Peter's. Hosea 13 and verse 14 says, I will ransom them from the power of the grave. I will redeem them from death. O death, I will be thy plagues. O grave, I will be thy destruction. Repentance shall be hid from mine eyes. Though he be fruitful among his brethren, and east wind shall come, and the wind of the Lord shall come up from the wilderness, and his spring shall become dry, and his fountain shall be dried up. He shall spoil the treasure of all pleasant vessels. So guys are being dried up. It says his spring shall become dry, his fountain shall be dried up. It says Samaria shall become desolate. So that's what's coming. Like our people are desolate. It says, for she hath rebelled against her God. They shall fall by the sword. Their infants shall be dashed in pieces, and their woman with child shall be ripped up. Because what's happening is Hosea 4 and 6, because they deny Yahushai, he's denying them and their children. So, guys love to point the finger at Esau and say, yeah, Esau, your children be dashed to pieces. But you have to understand that judgment's going to first start with our people first. And children is not just talking about infants and stuff. It's talking about children of Israel as a nation. Hosea 4 and 6. So Hosea the prophet was in a heavy spirit. Hosea was a heavy, heavy prophet. And he was keeping it real. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, see? Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. Thou shalt be no priest to me. So the Lord's not accepting their sacrifice. Because the only thing the Lord's accepting as a sacrifice is a humble and contrite spirit. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame, right? So our people, when they get knowledge, they get puffed up. When they get money, they get proud, and they forget who they got that from. They stop giving praise and thanks to the Lord, and rather they give praise to themselves. And just the same thing with Moses. Like Moses, I want to get Hosea 1 as well, but with Moses, he hit the rock and the water came out, but he didn't give praises to the Lord, and the Lord was displeased with that. So he judged Moses for that. So there's no respect of persons, even though the Lord talked with Moses face to face, and he had high regards for Moses. Obviously, there's still no respect of persons. Everyone's gonna reap what they've sown. 1 Timothy 1 in verse 15. This is a faithful saying and worthy of all acceptation, that Mashiach Yahushua came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am chief. Howbeit for this cause I obtain mercy, that in me first Yahushua Mashiach might show forth all long suffering for a pattern to them which should hereafter believe on him to life everlasting. So you have to follow that pattern. You have to take heed how you build. Because a lot of guys, they're building and they're like doing all kind of shit wrong. And then, we got to come over there and like fix it back up. So it's wasting a lot of precious time, They're not paying attention to detail, And that just makes the job harder on everybody when someone's not building right, And if you don't correct it right away, then it just makes it even harder to fix, So the word pattern is an outline, an example of those who should hereafter believe, to show by the example of my conversation that the same grace which I had attained would not be wanting also to those who should hereafter believe, right? And the Lord talks about how he left certain brethren that are examples to the flock. John 13:15, for I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you. You see? So you got to be an example. And that's what we are. All we are is an example to the flock. For 1 Peter 2:21 says, for here, even hereunto were ye called, because Yahushua also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth, who, when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not. See, and that's what our people do. When they suffer, when they're reviled, they like to hit right back. But this is how the Lord talked about if someone smites you, turn to the left cheek also. That's what Yahushua did. But committed himself to him that judgeth righteously, who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sins, should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed. For ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishop of your souls. And this is why the Lord said in Luke 12, those that knew the master's will and didn't prepare themselves to do according to his will shall be beaten with many stripes. You see? The same must know it after death by pain. But when you're serving the Lord and you're going through the straight gate, you're going through difficult things right now, he's going to make it so you're going to be able to bear it. You're going to be strong to endure it. Luke 6 and verse 27, but I say unto you which hear, right, those actually can understand Yahushua and his doctrine, which is not the doctrine of GMS or this camp or that camp. It's the doctrine of Yahweh and Yahushua, his son. It says, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. So when you have the wisdom and riches of the scriptures, men are going to despitefully use you. They're going to take what you have. They're going to, you know what I'm saying? But we're in the time of Matthew 25. We are. You are, right? We are in the Matthew 25. And what's the wise virgin saying to the foolish? Go and buy for yourselves. We can't give you of ours, you see? So this word despitefully is to threaten. See, and that's what our people do. They threaten the true men of the Lord. They threaten them sarcastically, all kind of different ways. They threaten the righteous, So the main thing about Yahushua, and I'm gonna get Stephen too, but they said they overcame the darkness and the evil. They forgave the enemies. They overcame everything. And all that hate and shit and all that negativity. They got away from it. Genesis 50 and 16 says, and they sent a messenger unto Joseph in the time of Jacob, right, with his brothers, saying, thy father did command before he died, saying, so shall ye say unto Joseph, forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren, and their sin, For they did unto thee evil, and now, we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of the God of thy father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face, and they said, Behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for I am in the place of God. But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive. So what's beautiful about what's happening now is that, like, what the Lord does with brothers in the house of David and the elect in our nation is that he brings us through evil things, in dark times, and brothers switching up and betraying. But at the end of the day, right, those that basically went through the worst and have been defamed and cast out and everything, like what happened to us, at the end of the day we save many, because the Lord, he's put this spirit in us in this position, because we're going to save much people alive, because we're going to forgive. See, if the same thing with Moses was almost meekest man on the earth. So if it wasn't for Moses, then our people would be destroyed too, because he stood in between the Lord and the people, just like Yahushua did, just like Joseph did in this situation. So this is what the Lord is using. He's using men that are closing the gap, closing the breaches, and healing our people of their many demons. Because it's not even them that's doing it. It's death. It's the wicked one. It's the last enemy. Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them, and he spake kindly unto them. So see how balanced the Lord is, where it's mercy, it's love, it's hate, it's death, it's life, but it's all perfect. You see? Psalms 106:16, they envied Moses also in the camp, and Aaron the saint of the Lord. The earth opened and swallowed up Dathan and covered the company of Abiram. And you got these guys, man, these proud elders and things. They're getting covered by this world, man. These famous guys, they're being covered and swallowed up of this world, and they're not swallowing up death. Death is swallowing them. It says, and a fire was kindled in their company, the flame burned up the wicked. They made a calf in Horeb and worshipped the immolten image. Thus they changed their glory into the similitude of an ox that eateth grass. See, they're carnal. And they forgot the similitude of the prophets, the examples of the prophets and of the Lord. They forgot God their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt, wondrous works in the land of Ham, and terrible things by the Red Sea. Therefore he said that he would destroy them, had not Moses his chosen stood before him in the breach to turn away his wrath, lest he should destroy them. You see? So the chosen in these last days, they're going to be closing the breaches. They're going to be closing and shutting the doors. You see? Yeah, they despised the pleasant land. They believed not his word, but murmured in their tents and hearkened not unto the voice of Yahweh. So that's what's happening. Guys in their tents, they're doing their own thing. They want to, build their own way. And they're not really hearkening to the voice of the Lord, because the voice of the Lord is the voice of his prophets that have the breath of life. They have the new covenant that are entering into the ark. You see? Acts 7. Now check this. The same thing with Stephen. Acts 7 and verse 59. And they stoned Stephen, calling upon God and saying, Lord Yahushua, I have received my spirit. And he kneeled down and cried with a loud voice, Lord, lay not this sin to their charge. And when he had said this, he fell asleep. You see that? So this is only for the special warriors. Just like you have like the special class of warriors and soldiers that are more elite than the regular soldiers, They're more extreme. That's what the Lord is really using right now. And it's only a few of us. And that's why we're looked at as nothing, just like Yahushua was, just like Stephen was, just like Joseph was. They were hating him because, the Lord was sending him dreams. They were hating him because they were telling he was telling them the truth. That's why they was hating Joseph. And on top of that too, because Jacob, He loved Joseph more than any of the other sons, so they hated him. They couldn't even speak peaceably to him. Same thing with the elect and the chosen now. So it's really heavy once you understand this. 1 Peter 3:8. Finally, be ye all of one mind. See, so not everyone's of this one mind of Yahushua. Only a few are. Having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous. Not rendering evil for evil, or railing for railing, but contrariwise blessing, knowing that ye are thereunto called. See, we've been called to bless those that curse us, you see? That ye should inherit a blessing. So we're inherit the blessing. We're inheriting this world. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and his lips that they speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good, and let him seek peace and ensue it. See, and this is what the Lord is doing. And the righteous, this is what they're doing. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open to their prayer. But the face of Yahweh is against them that do evil. So the Lord's face is against those that are being evil. You see, and you can't hide from that. The Lord sees everything, and he's giving us that same vision. 1 Corinthians 4 and verse 11. Even unto this present hour, we both hunger and thirst and are naked and are buffeted and have no certain dwelling place, right? So that's why we're not comfortable here. We're not happy here. That's why the Lord said in Luke, blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. So what are we really hungering after? Carnal bread? No, not carnal food. We're hungering after righteousness and judgment. And the Lord said we're going to be filled with. So we're filled with righteousness and judgment in the spirit. And labor, working with your own hands. You got guys that don't even work. They're lazy. They have excuses. There's no excuse, man. If you have faith, then guess what? You have to have works with it. And not just doing videos and talking all goddamn day, but actually having an honest job, man, making a living, getting your daily bread so you can take care of you and yours. It says in labor, working with our own hands. See, another man ain't gonna work for you, man. It says being reviled, we bless. Being persecuted, we suffer it. See, so we're suffering it. We're going through it. We're bearing that cross, because that cross symbolizes what? Shame and being hated and things thrown at you and false witnesses and this and that, false brethren. That's what the cross goes into. 1 Peter 1:21. For even we read that one. So that's the point, man. I'm gonna get out of here. Lord, when you brothers was edified and you got something out of it. For those of you that actually have ears and eyes to hear and see and comprehend what's being said, and not ignorant of Satan's devices. And when you're ignorant of Satan's devices, then guess what? Those devices that he has power over you. All praises, glory, honor, and fear. Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shara, Kakodash, Baba Ball. Stay strong. Shalom.